Now, a lot of the papers are carrying the news today about how the government planned to manage the DNA records of people currently on their controversial DNA database. Under the new plans, profiles of innocent adults and children arrested for but not convicted of serious offences will remain on record for 12 years. However, human rights campaigners say that the DNA samples of all of the 850,000 innocent people on record should be wiped. So, is it a problem if the government keep the DNA of innocent people who've never been convicted of crimes? What do we think, Lesley?
Well, far be it from me to disagree with the European Commission on Human Rights, but no, I don't have a problem with this. I actually think it's potentially a very good thing.
Even though they're innocent, they've not been convicted.
Even though they're innocent, because this technology is extraordinary, and I feel that if you're innocent, why not just stand up and say so? It's only a problem if you're guilty. An innocent person has nothing to fear from this, in my view.
But your DNA will be kept on a database with other criminals. Is there not a worry that it might get muddled up? Or?
No, I've no worry about that. It's only the same as fingerprints or dental records. There's lots of ways of identifying a human being for who they are. And I just think the deterrent effect of this is just so extraordinary. It's so fantastic. I mean, you are going to think twice about raping somebody, aren't you? If you know that your DNA is on a database waiting to be matched with the stuff that you leave at the scene of the crime. And if it stops one woman being raped, I'm all for us all being on a database.
Well, surely that's a good argument, Carol.
No, it isn't. It's not at all. Because my basic human right to a private life means I shouldn't have my personal details, which, and you can't get more personal than DNA. What you're saying about dental records, you don't have to be arrested to have your dental records taken. You get them taken because you need to have them on record.
But what would
the thing is, look, hang on a minute, Denise. When you're sorry, I do want to hear what you've got to say, but let me finish. When you are arrested, even before you are found guilty or committed of anything, just for being arrested now, they take your DNA. Now, for me, I find that hugely worrying, not only because right now, okay, we have a relatively, not dictatorial government. I say relatively, but can you imagine, like in the future, right? Say if everybody was on the DNA database, in the future we get, a proper despot, a proper dictator in charge of this country, and they have all your DNA records. They know exactly who you are, where you are, everything about you. And say you wanted to dissent, say you didn't agree with something that the government said. Oh, how easy would it be for them to fit you up? Now, I know that sounds like, oh, it's going to happen in the future. It won't happen. You're brilliant at saying, oh, that won't happen. I won't commit a crime. I won't do this. But, to have an innocent person's DNA on a database, every time there's a crime committed, your DNA is examined. So that makes you a potential suspect. Now, in this country, you are innocent until proven guilty. And I'll tell you what, there's been a lot of mistakes with DNA where people have had real problems proving themselves to be innocent.
Has there really been one of the mistakes with DNA, though?
Yes, there have. I can give you examples.
But that's why the DNA shouldn't be the only form of evidence that convicts a person. There should be other evidence, corroborative evidence that backs that up. And if we were all on a database, if for instance, your blood type and your DNA was taken at birth,
they make a profile.
so absolutely everybody was on, then it would be a complete leveller. There would be no question of...
But this is a state-owned government database that they can use to control you whatever time in the future.
No, nobody's controlling me, love.
Look,
no, I don't think that's going to happen.
I'm not a criminal, and I don't even know why they've got the right to take the DNA even before someone's being convicted. I don't even understand that.
Just a minute, you mentioned at the beginning there that if you've been arrested for a crime, then your DNA is taken. Well, if you've been arrested, that means you've done something wrong. So surely then...
Not necessarily. No, of course you haven't. People get arrested all the time for doing basically nothing.
I think there is, and I'm not sure, but I think that there is, if you have been wrongfully arrested and they take your DNA, I think that you have the right to...
No, you don't.
I think you do.
What, to have it removed?
Yeah.
No,
if you've been wrongfully arrested.
No, Denise, you don't. Absolutely, 100% no, you don't. It's on there. It stays there. And until the European Court in 2008 December said, you've got to get... They've told the government they've got to get rid of them, and now they're trying to get around it by saying...
I just don't know why you're so... I just don't know why you're so incandescent with rage about it.
I don't know why you're not. I don't. I really don't.
Because
it's only becoming not free.
It's only going to be...
At the end of the day, it's about catching criminals.
Can I also say...
I just know that on Snapped, Women Who Kill, it always works, that DNA thing. I love all those programmes.
Mistakes are made, and in fact, the number of crimes that were solved in the last 2 years have gone down that are sold by DNA, and yet we've got the biggest DNA database in the whole world. We've got more CCTV cameras
I would
in the
argue
whole
that
world.
I would
and
argue
we
that
don't
there are
have
more
no
benefits.
crime.
I would argue that there are more benefits.
And
I
so,
don't think
so would Jackie Smith,
Yes.
the Home Secretary, because
Absolutely.
Oh, what a surprise.
according to her, between April 98 and September 2008, there were more than 390,000 crimes with DNA matches, providing the police with a lead on the possible identity of the offender. So surely that's a good thing.
But they're the statistics that they choose to use. You know, look at the
They're
other
still
statistics
true.
in the last
They're
2
still
years.
facts,
the number
though,
of
Carol.
crimes solved by DNA has gone down. You know, you can.
But maybe that's because there's
manipulate
fewer
the
being
figures.
committed. Maybe it's putting people off. Maybe it is acting as a deterrent,
One
which
of
is
the
what we're looking for.
One of the things you touched on there was the fact that maybe young offenders, how long they would have their DNA kept for. I mean, to be honest, it's fairly complicated. Those who are convicted of a serious crime or 2 minor offences, their DNA profiles will be kept for life. Now, that's something that I have a problem with. Because,
Why?
Because why do I have a problem with it?
It's a deterrent.
Because, you know, you're 15 and you get arrested
yeah,
for
but
having...
they'll not commit again, will they?
You're 15, you get arrested for drinking cider in a park or something, and then you can't get a job as a teacher. I don't
for serious
understand.
crime. It's for serious crime, not for those minor crimes. They'll keep them. You know, they'll keep them for as long as they can. They'll try and get around it. But for serious crimes, they want to keep them forever.
even
And actually,
so,
all criminals should be on a DNA database.
If you commit a crime as a minor, what chance do you have of turning your life around if your DNA is kept on a database for the rest of your life? And then I don't understand how that can work.
No, I mean, I agree with it. I think it's wonderful that we have DNA testing, and I just personally have no problem with it.
I agree.
Okay, now all this week we're giving one lucky viewer the chance to walk away